And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we are going to be talking about the NBA season and what this NBA season has proven so far. I've already done two parts on that. Excuse me, I just blanked there for a second. I already done 2 parts on that. So now we're going to go into this third part. And again, this was inspired by the YouTube/content creator Swish Out, and I just want to go ahead and give my props to him. I'm not trying to steal his idea or anything. I just thought that was a very good. I just thought it was a very good segment that I could do, and I'm going to give off some of my own. And in this one, what I'm going to talk about is LeBron, of course. So one thing that this NBA season has proven so far, at least to me, is that LeBron still got it. I mean, he's the oldest player in the NBA. He is about to be 40 towards the end of this month, and he still is one of the best players in the NBA, one of the best players at his position, and I mean, by far the best 40-year-old to ever play in the NBA, hands down. Now, I will say that his numbers, they aren't like typical LeBron averages, I will say that. I mean, he's averaging only 23 points per game. Again, only 23 points per game for someone that's 40. It goes to show you the standards that he has set. But usually he averages around 25 points per game. He's never averaged less than 25, but he's also averaging 8 rebounds and 9 assists. So he's taking on a much more like a facilitator role. It also doesn't help that he had that little slump after he tied Kyle Korver, where he just forgot how to play basketball. It was a really, really bad slump, one of the worst slumps of his entire career, but he's shown that he still has a lot left in the tank. Now, I will say that this might be the first season where we see like a sign of decline coming in from LeBron, because again, 23 points per game compared to averaging 25 points per game, it's like, the decline is happening now, it seems like. It also, what doesn't really help that argument is how he ended up going on that slump for a couple of games. I forgot how many games it was, but I do know it was a lot of them. Like, he forgot how to shoot the ball for a very, very long time, going 0 for 24 in a 6-game span. It was very, very embarrassing. But nonetheless, he's proven that he still has a lot left in the tank. I mean, in the matchup against the Hawks, that was like, you could make an argument that that was the first matchup where he actually played great, but the matchup against the Heat was another matchup where he played really well. Now, he was the only person on the Lakers that actually came to hoop that night, because Anthony Davis in that game went 3 for 14. Meanwhile, LeBron going 12 for 18 and ended with 29 points. It's like, what more do you want from a 40-year-old? And I know a lot of people, they like to poke at how they use LeBron's age as an excuse, and they also use it as a way to bolster his resume and his legacy. Yes, because that's how it works. Like, you do not expect a 40-year-old to be doing the kinds of things that he's doing, and you also don't really expect a 40-year-old to be doing the things that he's doing. So if LeBron is playing bad, you expect a 40-year-old to play bad. If LeBron is playing well, you don't expect a 40-year-old to play well. So it's like, of course it's going to be used as an excuse, and of course it's going to be used as a way to bolster his legacy. But regardless, this season has shown that LeBron, he still has a lot left in the tank, and that there's still a lot more that he could do in the NBA. I wouldn't be surprised if he could play maybe one other year, maybe 2 more years, but again, it doesn't really seem like LeBron is too keen on that idea. Maybe he wants to, maybe he wouldn't want to play for as long as he could because he's afraid that that'll affect his legacy. I mean, Michael Jordan, he played on the Wizards. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. But I guarantee you, people are going to bring up the time that he had the worst 6-game span of his entire career at age 39. I guarantee you people are going to still remember that and bring it up. People still bring up the fact that he ended up losing the finals in 2011. I understand that is a very embarrassing loss, But let's not act like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or every single great to ever exist in NBA history did not have an embarrassing playoff loss. Let's stop it right there. And for those of you who support Jordan, you might say, oh, he's 6-0 in the finals. Where was the disappointing loss? Well, for one, he could not get past the Detroit Pistons. It took for the Pistons to get older for him to actually get past that. And it also took prime Scottie Pippen to be on the team for that. That's one. Two, the matchup against the Orlando Magic in 1995. Now, I know a lot of those MJ fans are going to say that Michael Jordan was coming back from baseball and he wasn't at 100%. He was averaging 36 points per game in that series. He was at 100%. He definitely was playing some of the best basketball that anybody has seen in the postseason. There was nothing. There was no excuse for that, but they love to make that excuse that he was coming back from baseball. Like, if he was playing throughout that entirety of the NBA season, they would have miraculously beaten the Orlando Magic. And no, they wouldn't have. Michael Jordan on the documentary himself admitted that they were lacking at the power forward position, which was a position that the Orlando Magic, where they had Horace Grant, which was the power forward before Dennis Rodman, and the power forward that helped the Chicago Bulls end up winning 3 championships straight. Like, that was a key player to their offense, and they did not have that key player. Despite Michael Jordan averaging 36, 39 points per game, it wasn't enough because they did not have the right matchups. Then a lot of people, they like to say that, then the following year when Michael Jordan ended up sweeping the Orlando Magic, because he actually was warmed up and he actually played a whole season. Horace Grant was injured in that series, so it was already an uneven matchup. But that's besides the point. That's a little bit of a rant. Yeah, that's how I feel with Michael Jordan and LeBron. I think LeBron, and that's another thing that the season has proven. LeBron is easily the greatest basketball player to ever play basketball, period. No questions about it. And next, because we are a little bit low on time, I only prepared 2, so I made sure to rant for that one. But so far, this NBA season has proven that the Western Conference is way better than the Eastern Conference. Now, before, a lot of people, they usually just say that as a joke. Like, a lot of people, they just, this is sort of like a known thing, but it's like, it's becoming very, very apparent now in this season. Like, before, you could make an argument where it was like, the West was better than the East, but it was marginal. It was really, really close, right? Like, you could make that argument. Now, you really cannot. So, looking at the standings right now, there are only 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that have not lost 10 games. In the Western Conference, there are 5 teams who have not lost 10 games. Not only that, but in the Western Conference, there are several teams that have 12 wins or more. In fact, all the way down to the 12th seed, every single team in the Western Conference has 12 wins or more. But on the Eastern Conference side, all the way down to the 12th seed, the 76ers have only 7 wins. So the 12th seed on the Eastern Conference has 7 wins. The 12th seed on the Western Conference has 12 wins. And the top four teams in the Eastern Conference, they are the top dogs, and most likely they aren't going to be. There's no other team that's really going to make it past those 4 teams. The 4 teams being the Cavs, the Celtics, the Magic, and the Knicks. It doesn't really seem like most of the teams in the Eastern Conference, at least right now, are going to be able to put up much of a fight against those teams. But over in the West, it's way more undecided. So, the Thunder, they're 18-5. The Grizzlies, they're 17-8. The Grizzlies, like a team that I did not expect to even make it this high this early in the season, they're 17-8. The Rockets, another team I didn't expect, 16-8. The Mavericks, I expected that, 16-8. Warriors, I didn't expect that, 14-9. Clippers, did not expect them to be ranked higher than the Lakers this year, 14-11. The Nuggets, 12-10. I did not expect them to tank. The Lakers, 13-11. The Timberwolves, 12-11. So all the way down to the 10th seed, the Suns, which was a team that was ranked number 1 earlier in the season, is now ranked at number 10 because they're 12-11. This, like, very, all the way from the 1 to the 10 seed, you have contenders. You have teams that have a legitimate chance of winning the NBA title. But over on the East, it's only the top 4 teams. Like, it is that apparent how many games and how much better the Western Conference is now than the Eastern Conference. It is uncanny. And the teams that are negative, the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference is a negative team. The Brooklyn Nets, 10-14. But over on the West, the only teams that are negative are the Kings, Blazers, the Jazz, and the Pelicans. I can count those teams with just one hand. But over for the Eastern Conference, the Nets being negative, Pacers are also negative, Bulls are also negative, Pistons, they're also negative, 76ers, negative, Hornets, Raptors, and the Wizards. All of those teams are negative. Like, the skill base is apparent. And, like, the competitiveness of the West and the East, it's not even close anymore. So that's all that I have in this 4th segment. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the special 5th segment where I talk about whether or not the Chiefs are really the luckiest team in NFL history. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.